Hello, this video I'll cover the show Lord Marksman and Vanadis. During the Battle of Dinant, War Maiden Elen Voltaria and her 5,000 troops obliterate an army of 25,000 soldiers from the Broom Kingdom, leaving Count Tigerverma Tiger Vorn among the surviving soldiers. Elen ultimately captures Tiger, bringing him to her bustling territory Leitmeritz. After dreaming of being ridiculed by Zion Thenardier, Tiger is awakened by Elen. Tiger then tells Elen that her demanding ransom from being released as her prisoner of war is exorbitant. Elen arranges Tiger for a demonstration with an inferior bow. When an assassin attempts to aim at Elen with a crossbow, she destroys the bolt using aerokinesis. Tiger, determining the limits of the bow, shoots the assassin in the foot, allowing Elen's colleague and bodyguard Lemalicia to apprehend the assassin. Although the bow was poorly made to humiliate Tiger, he showed exceptional archery skills. Elen offers Tiger to serve under her, but since he made a promise to protect his home back in the territory Alsace, she allows him to keep his nobility title. As Tiger grows used to life at Leitmeritz, his loyal attendant Bertrand arrives at night in the Imperial Palace, telling Tiger that Duke Felix Aaron Thenardier is mobilizing troops towards Alsace. In the territory Nemetacum, Thenardier dispatches his son Zion to destroy Alsace as a sign of dominance now that the Brune Prince Regnaz has been killed. The soothsayer Drekabat gives Zion 2 dragons to be used as war beasts. In Leitmeritz, Tiger desperately tries to get back to protect his homeland. When Elen stops him and asks what Tiger alone could possibly do against 3,000 soldiers, he asks her to let him borrow her army. Greatly amused, Elen accepts on the condition that she will rule Alsace, which Tiger complies. In Alsace, Tiger's maid Tida helps to evacuate the citizens but decides to stay at Tiger's home. While Zion's forces start pillaging the town, Zion decides to destroy the mansion. Zion attempts to molest Tida, only to be forced to retreat after being interrupted by the timely arrival of Tiger and Elen. When an enemy archer tries to shoot Tiger, he catches the arrow and shoots it back, destroying his bow in the process. Tida gives Tiger the black bow, an heirloom of his ancestors. During the Battle of Molsheim, the Thenardier army of 2,700 soldiers clashed with the Leitmeritz army of 900 soldiers on the open plains, with Elen and Tiger leading the charge. When the Leitmeritz army defeats Zion's 1st Battalion, he sends in his Earth Dragon, which crushes anything in its path. Elen faces the Earth Dragon alone, while Lemalicia and Warwick lead flanking maneuvers to distract the enemy forces. Using the full power of her Veralt, a long sword named Erifar, Elen slices the Earth Dragon in half, while Lemalicia and Warwick's forces lead their pursuers into a series of traps. Zion is dismayed and refuses to send the Wyvern into battle. Informed that the Leitmeritz army is equipped with 2,000 reinforcements at his rear, Zion starts to panic. In reality, the reinforcements consisted of a shadow army of only 100 men with 2,000 remounts. Zion orders the 2nd Battalion to retreat, consequently allowing the Leitmeritz army to slaughter them from behind. When Zion attempts to flee on the Wyvern, Tiger's black bow speaks to him and absorbs power from Elen's Erifar, allowing Tiger to shoot down the Wyvern and Zion. The Leitmeritz army celebrates their victory over the Thenardier army. Elen is summoned to Silesia, the capital city of the ZHC Kingdom, leaving Lemalicia behind to help Tiger. In Silesia, Elen explains to King Victor Archer Volk Est Tsar ZHC that she was hired by Tiger to invade the Broom Kingdom in order to acquire peace in Alsace. Afterwards, Elen starts a quarrel with Olmutz war maiden Ludmilla Mila Lurie, but they are halted by Polesia war maiden Sofia Sophia Oberdes. When Tiger and Tida return from checking on the citizens of Alsace, they are joined by Earl Mash's Rodent, Tiger's friend and ally. Tiger convinces other nobles to join his cause, including Terroir Viscount Hughes Augur and his son Gerard Augur. Elen, Tiger, and Lemalicia discuss their plans but are interrupted by the arrival of Mila. They decide to reconvene in the village of Roderick, and Mila questions Tiger about his motives as they ride on horseback. Along the way, they are ambushed by the 7 Chains assassins. Mila uses her Veralt, a short spear named Lavias, using cryokinesis to kill 6 of these mercenaries. However, Lemalicia is bitten by a snake, prompting Tiger to suck out the venom. Tiger and Elen head towards Roderick to get medical attention. After Lemalicia recovers from her snakebite, Elen rewards Tiger setting up a bath in a private hot springs bathhouse with a displeased Mila. The 4 of them then tour the marketplace in Roderick, but Mila immediately returns to her snowy homeland of Olmutz on the border of Leitmeritz. Elen orders Lemalicia to increase the border patrol, correctly predicting that Mila has mobilized her forces. During the Battle of VL Colin, the Leitmeritz army clashes with the Olmutz army, but their battle ends in a stalemate. Mila retreats to the Tatra fortress, a nearly impregnable citadel, and the Leitmeritz army settles in for a siege. Disguising himself as a bear, Tiger scouts for an alternate route to the fortress before encountering Mila. She shares tea with him as she expresses her misgivings of being a war maiden. After following Mila towards the fortress, Tiger reports back to Alen. As Alen and Tiger then lead a raid of 100 men into the mountains, Alen uses her full power to try to break through the rear gate but fails. When Tiger saves Alen from certain death, the two combine their powers to destroy the rear gate and lead their men into the breach. After destroying the rear gate of the Tatra fortress, Alen duels Mila. However, this is interrupted by the last member of the Seven Chains assassins, only to be killed by Tiger. Mila realizes that Tiger not only was the bear hunter that she previously met, but also only wants to protect Alsace. In gratitude for Tiger saving her life, Mila declares her neutrality, thus ending the battle. On the western border of the Broom Kingdom, Roland, leader of the Navarre Knights and wielder of the legendary sword Durandal, receives a royal decree to kill Tiger. In the territory terroir, the Alsace army and the Late Moritz army form an uneasy coalition, which is named the Silver Meteor Storm. Sophie, who was sent as a diplomatic envoy, arrives at the army camp, informing that Brune Prime Minister Pierre Baudouin has charged Tiger with treason. Sophie tells Alen the whereabouts of the remaining 4 war maidens. While Tiger and Hugh struggle to retain loyalty of their allies, the Navarre Knights approach and Roland rejects all offers of parley. During the Battle of Orange, the Silver Meteor Storm suffers heavy casualties. Tiger is severely injured while saving Alen from being attacked by Roland. Sophie appears and uses her Veralt, a priest staff named Zot, using photokinesis to repel oncoming Navarre Knights, then again to vanish once Alen and Tiger are safely away. When Mashes and his reinforcements arrive, the Navarre Knights stop their pursuit. In the army camp, Mashes says that he was unable to meet with King Farron's sole Roy Blainville de Charles, though Baudouin told Mashes that Farron's health is precarious. With Tiger still unconscious, Alen promises to win the battle and Sophie volunteers to help her. After waking up, Tiger is guided by the Black Bow and accompanied by Tita to a mysterious temple belonging to the goddess of night, darkness, and death named Turnaf Fal. When Tita is possessed, Tiger shoots Tita in a test of resolve for greater power. He controls this power so that the arrow does not harm Tita, causing the temple to disappear. The Silver Meteor Storm diverts the plains into a bog, easily targeting the Navarre Knights. After Tiger arrives at the battlefield despite reopening his wounds, he shoots Roland with his new power. Roland barely survives and accepts defeat. With half of the Navarre Knights dead, the battle comes to an end. Roland leaves Durandal in the care of Tiger. Alen receives a letter from Legnica war maiden Alexandra Sasha Alshavin, who asks for Alen's assistance in dealing with an invasion. Meanwhile, Roland arrives at Nice, the capital city of the Broom Kingdom, only to be killed by Duke Maximilian Benusa Gainlon with a swarm of bees. Despite this, Gainlon informs Thénardier that an army of 20,000 men from the Muezzanal Kingdom is invading the Broom Kingdom. Thénardier takes a third of his troops to face the invaders and sends the remainder to Nice in order to counter Gainlon. When Tiger hears of the invasion, he decides to face the invaders despite being outnumbered tenfold. Eventually, Tiger leads his main force against the Muezzanal army vanguard and kills General Qasim, allowing Tiger to free slaves in the territory Agnes. Gerard informs Tiger that despite suffering few casualties, their supplies are starting to run low, and that the retreating Muezzanal army soldiers are joining an even larger invading force, which will number 40,000 in mere days. Tiger leads some of his riders to meet the Muezzanal army cavalry, which is unexpectedly reinforced by the arrival of Mila and the Olmutz army. In Legnica, Alen is told by Sasha that Lebes war maiden Elizaveta Liza Famina is using an incident during their joint campaign against pirates as an excuse to invade. Sasha also notes that her Veralt, twin daggers named Bargren, refused to leave her despite her poor health. In Agnes, Tiger negotiates terms with Mila to ally the Olmutz army with the Silver Meteor Storm. Gerard informs Tiger that a rescued girl named Regine Estelle Warbashin du Charles refuses to eat, so Tiger convinces her to eat by sharing her food. During the Battle of Borazlo, the Late Moritz Legnica coalition army faces against the Lebes army. Alen eventually overpowers Liza, who calls off the fight. Liza informs Alen that Thénardier and Gainlon are ready to move and that Tiger is facing the invasion from the Muezzanal army. Alen accepts the terms of the ceasefire and hurries to rejoin Tiger. Meanwhile, Mila proposes only one battle to defeat the Muezzanal army, which is led by Curies Shahan Balamir, the younger brother of the king of Muezzanal. Curies presses his attack disregarding the presence of any forces from the Zhted kingdom, while Tiger and Mila prepare for battle. During the Battle of Ormia, the Muezzanal army of 40,000 troops arrive at the Ormia Hills, where the Silver Meteor Storm has made a small stronghold on the first hill. Curies splits the Muezzanal army into 7 divisions. While decoying refugees occupy the 1st through 4th divisions at the stronghold, Tiger and Mila lead an ambush at the 2nd hill against the 5th and 6th divisions. However, Tiger and Mila become surrounded when attacking the 7th division. Tiger and Mila are reinforced when allied knights Emil, Shea, and August arrive to aid the Silver Meteor storm. Although the reinforcements will now total 5,000 men, another 3,000 men led by Hughes and Mashes also arrive, forcing Curies to retreat and regroup. When word reaches Curies that the Nuisanal fleet left behind to attack the Broom Kingdom's southern harbor was sunk by Thenardier, Curies decides to withdraw and give his personal congratulations to Tiger via envoy. Elen and Limelitia return to Tiger and Mila, causing yet another disagreement between Elen and Mila. That night, Tiger and Elen discuss the battle, and Tiger vows that he will not forget those who died fighting for him. At Perch Fortress, Austria war maiden Valentina Tina Glinka Est uses her Vril, a Grim Reaper side named Ezendays, using Umbrakinesis to witness Tiger in his sleep. During a meeting, Bertrand summons Regine, who reveals that she posed as Regnaz. The night before the Battle of Dinant, Regine was attacked by assassins and was forced to fake her death. Without any other proof of her bloodline, she can only prove her birthright as Farron's daughter in the Holy Grotto located in Artisham, the capital city of the territory Lutetia, ruled by Gainlon. Meanwhile, Thenardier receives 5 dragons from Drekavac and moves to intercept the Silver Meteor storm. In Lutetia, Gainlon anticipates the final battle between Tiger and Thenardier, then sets fire to Artisham. During the Battle of Villacresnes, the Silver Meteor storm of 20,000 clashes with the Thenardier army of 24,000. With their combined power, Elen and Mila slay the 3 Earth Dragons, but the Fire Drake and the Double-Headed Dragon are armed with magical chains and remain unscathed. After the armies reorganize, Tiger leads flanking maneuvers against the enemy forces, while the 2 War Maidens decide to slay the 2 remaining dragons by themselves. After Elen wakes up Tiger through Bloodbust, Tiger tells everyone that their next action is to head to Artisham. Regine explains that there are 3 routes to the Holy Grotto, and they choose the second route through the Moshe Temple. Taking a hidden passageway under the temple into the caverns, Tiger, Elen, Regine, Warwick, and Bertrand discover that Thenardier and his men used another route. As a battle ensues, Thenardier sends his second-in-command Stade to pursue Tiger and Regine, while Elen faces Thenardier. The cavern begins to collapse, and Thenardier chooses to retreat. However, Stade continues to pursue Tiger. While Elen, Regine, and Warwick flee, Tiger is saved by Bertrand at the cost of his life before Stade is crushed by falling rocks. Trapped underground, Tiger rushes to Bertrand, who speaks of how fortunate he was to serve Tiger before dying. Elen and Regine rush back to Artisham, where Elen finds Tiger alive and Bertrand dead in a pit. As the final battle with Thenardier approaches, the leaders of the Silver Meteor storm wonder if Tiger will be able to overcome the death of Bertrand. A flashback reveals that Tiger used the Black Bow to shoot through the bedrock and create the pit. Tiger recovers his medal when Elen tells him that she felt pride when she began as a simple mercenary. They then talk about building a trade route that will connect Alsace and Leitmeritz. Baduin visits the army camp, informing that Farron was repeatedly poisoned by Gainlon but has regained his wits. During the Battle of Maryville, the fight goes in favor of the Silver Meteor storm since Stade no longer commands the Thenardier army. Facing off against Thenardier, Tiger draws a single arrow and throws out his quiver after Elen brings Tiger back to his senses. Thenardier charges at Tiger, who shoots him through the forehead out of his saddle. In Nice, the populace celebrates the Silver Meteor storm as heroes. Farron agrees to Tiger's terms for peace and recognizes Regine as his heir. He also honors Tiger with the title Knight of the Moonlight, traditionally given to the future king of Brune. A few days later, Farron dies and Regine ascends to the throne. Tiger and Titta return to Leitmeritz, and the construction of the trade route begins by springtime. Thank you for watching the video.